There's 9 people in the room, and you just completely go bananas.
I raged. I screamed, blah, 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 and I ripped them all off the wall.
Oh my God. This is my podcast. Hi, I'm Jaci Terjeson, stand-up comedian and podcaster. This is my podcast. This is the manic world of Jaci Terj, where we talk about times stand-up comedians have lost it, seen other people lose it, just implode in general, because it's such a delicious part of life. And I'm here with one of my friends, someone who has beat me in not one, but 2 competitions in a row, which hurts. And we're going to get into that. There might be some fighting here, and that's just good for business. So he was the winner of the 2023 Seattle International Comedy Competition. He is a Portland icon, if I can say that, right up there with like other people in Portland who are also icons who I can't think of any right now. So maybe it's just him. Give it up for the very funny Brent Lowrey.
Hey, thank you for having me, Jackie.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This is like a charity.
That was a rough 6 weeks back in 2023.
6 weeks of
losing to me and
losing to me. I want to say that it was the worst time in my life, and it was.
No, it was the best. I did not want to like Jackie the first time I met her, because the first impression I ever had of you.
This is a common story.
It was a Facebook comment of you telling like the whole Northwest Comedy Board, like, don't ever try to get in on my venue. And it was this long thing about like, and I was just like,
losing it, because I never lose it. I try to stay out of the drama. Like I'm into it. The comedy scene drama is exceptional, but I stay out of it. But the one time I lost it.
And I was just like, oh, I would not like this person. She seems so extra and like, I just did. And then I didn't want to like you in that Nate Jackson's contest, and we hung out in the green room, and I was like, I like her. She's funny. What can we say?
And she is extra, and people like that about me.
I didn't realize we would spend like the next month and a half in green rooms stressfully bonding, but it was like trauma bonding, and then there's been like a year plus since then. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, yay. Yeah. Anything else nice you want to say about me? I'm kidding. We'll get there. But Seattle International.
That was it, actually. No, that was pretty much it.
You're like, I have been racking my brain this whole time, but that was all I got. Seattle International Comedy Competition, very historic. It's a long running, it's like a month long, shows almost every night for a month. It's wild. It's a gauntlet.
It's the best and the worst, because you're like, oh, man, I wish I would have got to enjoy all those gigantic crowds that, you know, I'll spend the rest of my career trying to get back to.
Yes, sold out theaters. That you just hate everything and yourself the whole time. You're not enjoying it at all.
Anytime a joke misses, you're like, that's some loose. Yeah, I lost some points there. You know, it's just like, contests suck. I think I would love for that to be the last contest I ever do. But you know how, you know, you need to be revalidated every, few days in this business.
Yeah, I've already done like 6 since then. I've won them all because you weren't in any of them.
Have you done any since then?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No, but I do need to say on record for all of my mini listener, Mom, hi. I want to say that I did win the semifinals of the competition.
Sure.
So technically everybody who ended up placing ahead of me, I beat them initially.
Right. What did winning semifinals pay?
Mostly dignity, a lot of which I very quickly lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun.
That was the best.
What have you been up to? You're in Wet City Comedy
Festival.
Weekend.
And I don't want to.
I mean, another thing that Brent is doing that I did not.
What?
What? Go ahead.
I'm excited to be a part of Wet City. It doesn't seem like a festival that I would have on paper been chosen for, given the stylings of the headliners. It's a lot of women. It's a lot of people of color, and it's in Seattle. So the idea that they plucked my, hat wearing straight white guy, bearded man, I'm just happy to be included. And it's fun watching Imani work with Maria Bamford. So that's the highlight.
Imani, your girlfriend, who's also a stand-up comic.
Yes. Did she talk about? Did she reveal
Your name
that?
might have been mentioned a few times.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
she's just a comic I look up to. If you want to say she's my girlfriend, I guess that's true. But I didn't come in here flexing about it.
I'll flex about it for you. She's
Sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
She's funny. She's cute.
great. She's great.
That's what this podcast is about, is Imani, actually.
I thought it was about losing your cool.
Well, yeah.
She
also
slapped me.
that.
She slapped me a few weeks ago.
She slapped you. Oh, and you said a joke about it at a show a few days ago.
Yeah, I did.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, we don't have to get into the specifics.
No, it's funny.
I deserved
kind
it.
of do want you to
deserved
say it. Will you say it? What you said? You won't?
No.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it off camera. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
No, we won't. I have no show notes. People think I'm that organized to have notes. I actually do. I have a little note right here.
Sit
But
comfortably.
yeah, get comfortable. Welcome. This is my house. This is where I live. This couch is where I sleep at
Where do
night.
you keep your 3 kids and husband?
They're in the car. That's where they're allowed to live.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. No, so do you have anything coming up that you're excited about?
I'm doing this thing in Vancouver, the Vancouver Comedy Jam. It's a 3-hour comedy show, which is about
What?
2 hours longer than anybody
There's
needs.
4 intermissions.
No, there's 1 intermission. And yeah, that's on the 18th. This is what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Tacoma.
Tacoma Comedy Club.
Yeah, Tacoma Comedy Club. I am headlining my first weekend at a comedy club.
Oh.
February 28th and March 1st in the 6th and Proctor room. So I don't know, we're still working out who's opening and who's featuring.
It's a great room.
Oh, I love it. And it's an honor to be, it's been 10 years, but featuring a weekend or headlining a weekend in a club, it even feels weird to say. The first year I did comedy, I had a boss who owned a comedy club that said, the first sign that somebody is not a headliner is if they tell you they're a headliner. So I've had this reluctance to even say those words in my name because it feels like,
Right.
not real, and it feels like I'm putting on airs. But when you're headlining, I guess, you're not calling yourself that. It's
People are like, you're like there for the weekend. Somebody's like, oh yeah, this is the headline. You're like, no, I wouldn't say that. And they're
It's
like,
a good-
No, you're literally.
it's a good rule of thumb. Like if people have to say that in a message or an email, it's like,
Yeah.
you know who headliners are. They sell tickets.
So I shouldn't be telling everybody that I meet that I'm a headliner.
You
Even
do.
people that don't know that I'm a comedian. I say,
Whatever happens in your manic world, you just ride that wave.
I mean, there's a lot of things, illegal and otherwise, but that's cool. Proud of you, buddy.
You too.
Yeah, I won't be there to support, but I'll be excited for you. I'm kidding. I'm sure I will be.
I thought I told you you could do guest spots.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you heard it here first, folks. I will do a guest spot. Depending on pay, I'll have my people get in touch with you guys. But I'm very expensive.
Oh, never mind.
It's unpaid.
We'll miss having you, but yeah.
I was hoping for a tiered deal. So like I'm gonna try to do like a
like when they laugh so hard they're in tears.
Yes. Oh. However many tiers I get, that's how much money I
Perfect.
get. Brent.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself an emotional person?
Yeah, but I don't like to talk about it.
You keep it inside.
I talk about it with people who...
It's very evanescent.
There's a few people in my life who I am emotional with.
Yeah.
And then most of the world I put out this air that I'm like, nah, I got it all figured out. I think most people can see through that, but I don't get emotional that often.
Yeah. But outwardly or just in general?
Outwardly.
Okay. So, but do you feel like you're emotional?
Highly, yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I wish I was more comfortable throwing it out in just to the world, but
yeah,
the people who do that bother me and scare me. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I always feel like it's so attention seeking to be overly emotional, especially you have to really pick who you're being overly emotional with, because if you just let that be public,
yeah,
and then the types of people that respond to certain emotions
Yeah.
are not necessarily there to support you.
yeah,
They're just
they just want your Seattle International money.
no, not even that. That's funny. No, there's certain people who will only come like comment on something when you're deep in the dumps. And it's like, I don't know. I guess publicly I hate being too emotional, but it's a flaw as much as it's a preference, you know. I recognize that there's like vulnerability in emotion, and I wish I brought more vulnerability to the stage, to just interactions with people that aren't necessarily strangers but not friends. Because that's how you make friends, right? Yeah. You become vulnerable around people. And I often keep people, especially in comedy, because I see them almost as like coworkers. I try to keep like a professional distance, you know? Yeah. Generally.
Is that like how your family was?
We didn't confront a lot of things. So like we were in the suburbs, North County, San Diego. We didn't fight.
Just surfing every day.
Yeah, just like what else is San Diego? Just surfing. That's what we do. Yeah. SeaWorld.
Whale watching. I don't know.
The zoo.
The zoo. You went to the zoo like every day.
We went to the wild animal park a lot, which is like a subset of the zoo. Anyways, I didn't see my parents fight. I didn't see them like express a lot of love either. Like, so we just kept everything pretty pleasant and outwardly as well. Like in the suburbs, that's what you do. You present the image of stability, positivity. We're a happy, regular, normal family. And like that wasn't untrue, but I think inside there was a lot of things we could have also been talking about. Like I had questions about growing up, and I never like really asked my parents.
The birds and the bees.
We didn't talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of probably why I don't.
I'll tell you how babies are made after the podcast. We don't need to get into it now, but keep going.
Please don't. Yeah, please don't.
When a man and a woman. Anyway, keep going. So you guys didn't talk about stuff.
Right. Yeah. You kept it.
Do you now? Do you have a different relationship with your parents, or is it pretty similar?
I think I'll call my mom when things get real. Like I'll talk to her. I think that it's grown.
Yeah.
But I am still not great at just calling my mom and asking for like advice. Yeah. In fact, one time I told my mom she was bad at giving advice, and then she like now when I need advice, she'll be like, well, I don't want to because I'm bad at it. And I'm like, nah, I need you, mom. And so that was I shouldn't have said that. If you're watching, Jackie's mom and my mom are the only two watchers. We're sorry.
You're great at giving advice.
We need you.
Yeah. My husband's family was similar, so I told him all of the facts of life, but which is why we have so many kids. Hello. But that's interesting.
And it's why anytime I see anyone else fighting or reacting, I'm always like, ooh, what's wrong with them? Because we talked a lot about what was wrong with other families.
Oh, interesting.
That is actually, my mom and I
how your family bonded.
Well, yeah, we're like, well, we're good because we're not, having, our son isn't in rehab, like stuff like that.
Yet. And no, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm ribbing you so much.
No, you're good. It's we were looking a lot outward, and it's funny. My dad would have meetings sometimes because he owned an electrical contracting company, so he was like a manager, owner, like whatever. Yeah, he was employer. A boss. But sometimes he would feel that the family needed to have like almost like a progress meeting. Mm-hmm. So he'd have his yellow notepad, and we'd have it was very similar to like what he would probably do at work, like things we could focus on or need to improve as a family. And every time he would do this, my mom she would like roll her eyes or something, and then we would be like, Mom doesn't even respect this. What? And then he would see that she was rolling her eyes and undermining, and he'd be like, well, then why are we doing this anyway? And
And like never ended well.
yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like in a business meeting, if that happened, he'd be like, well, you're all fucking fired.
Yeah.
But in his family, he's like, I'm going in my room, you know?
He's like, first thing we need to improve on, family meetings. They need to get better.
They were, one time we watched like a Zig Ziglar video, and he's like a sales guy who teaches the art of sales. And I just remember getting like maybe 5 minutes in before somebody like made fun of it. And then my mom was like, this is stupid. And then my dad was just like, he probably wanted to rip the whole fucking
He like turns it off
TV.
and goes to his room. That's funny.
Brutal.
That sounds like a really sweet family though.
We were good at looking good.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, we were all just up and positive. And
So you never saw your parents lose it.
you know who always lost it? My sister would freak the fuck out. She would, if there was like a whole 4 or 5 year period from like when she was in like 5th to 9th or 10th grade,
Yeah.
where it was almost 3 times a week, a door slamming, and her, I fucking hate you. And like, what was fun for me in all those moments is I would just be with my mom and dad being like, she's crazy.
You'd be like, women, am I right?
I'd be like, man, I am such a good kid. And I always found those moments to be like, you're looking at your angel right here. Look, I'm obviously the good one.
That's so funny. That's like your first. That's so similar to stand up though,
What?
because there's something happening in the room and you're like kind of acknowledging it and you're using it to relate to the other people and be
Right.
like, it's us, right, against this moment kind of a thing.
Right. I guess it'd be similar to like picking out somebody who's a problem in a show and
Right.
being like, what's her deal? You
This
know, like,
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always fun.
It's always fun. You have to do it.
Yeah. It's fun to talk like this.
It is fun to talk like this. This is why I do this podcast.
It's like an unqualified.
I don't like talk to any of my friends.
It's like all
other than
therapy
this.
material, and then you're like, oh, but it's just Jackie on the other end. I'm not going
Yeah.
to get any help out of this.
No, this is not. Nobody should be taking any health advice. No,
we could
you're
just-
actually probably going to feel worse after
We could
this.
just send this to a therapist, someone who's
Yeah.
qualified. They could probably give me some like.
They're like, you're
tools.
fine. We're worried about the host. So when do you lose it then? So it was you never saw your parents lose it.
So my mom would yell. Like sometimes my mom would get overwhelmed, and
Yeah.
like my sister maybe learned the freak out thing from
Yeah.
her, but it was limited. And
That's good. So you were normal when your mom freaked out. I need to hear these things. Not that I freak out a lot.
I think I
but
pissed my dad off maybe like a handful of times that he really like raised his voice, and there just wasn't a ton on my end. Losing it was like very rare, even before I started smoking weed all day.
Yeah.
But that sort of matched what I wanted to continue doing, which is like, oh, let's not confront anything that's too high or too low. Let's like
Just live in the
stay
middle.
even, because anytime things get too far in the other direction, I have a hard time coping, you know?
Yeah. Because it feels so out of your norm.
Right. I was never given very like helpful tools for dealing with those emotions.
Yeah.
So what do you
Yeah.
got for me? I'm just kidding.
Well, I have some Adderall, some Lexapro. No, I'm kidding. We'll talk about pharmaceuticals later.
But within that, I do have a story for sure of
Yeah.
the time that I lost it.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I was in high school. I think we're probably around the same age.
Yeah. I'm 27.
You graduated in 06.
24, sorry.
You graduated in 06, so you must have been
God,
way
you're not
smarter.
supposed to. That's not real. That's not true.
You were the president of your high school.
I was.
You smoked a cigarette one time when you were a senior, and you almost got in trouble.
Well, not one. I got caught one time.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was 2 years behind, so I was 2008. But there's this whole period from like 2003. I mean, it still happens, but poker,
Yeah.
Texas Hold'em poker, became this like national phenomenon around 2003 that was like on ESPN
Right.
and television. Did your dad ever watch that?
My dad didn't, but my brother did.
Your brother
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And it was like, was your brother older?
We're twins.
Twins, that's right. So he probably like played with his buddies in high school.
Yeah, probably.
It was the same sort of thing where right in 8th grade, somebody taught me how to play, and then we would watch it on TV, and my buddies and I played it. And this is right when people are starting to like talk to girls and like and we went the other way.
Right.
We were like, girls are scary. So we started.
You're like, we got to know when to hold them. We got to know when to fold them.
Yes.
We got to know when to walk away. We got to know when to run.
We were running the whole time. We were just running from women, at least. That's a great call, though. We started this thing called, because I lived in a city called Poway.
Okay.
And we started the Poway Poker Tour. So freshman year, it was like the same 10 guys. Every 2 weeks, we would have a 10-person sleepover where we played a poker tournament.
Okay,
like,
wait.
all night.
I just have to pause. 10 guys.
Yeah.
You 10 friends.
Yeah.
I feel like that is very rare.
Not in high school. Everybody has 10 friends in high school.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I mean, not every week we were like best buds, but it was the same 10 people.
Yeah. You had a collective
all year
vision.
We kept like a point system.
Yeah.
And I was the commissioner, so like I was the one who would like tally the points, and like I was the one basically. Without me, we wouldn't have never made that up. And but I organized it. Yeah.
That's big. Wait, and also I can smell the basements from here that you guys probably slept in. 10 high school guys.
Yeah.
You were like sophomores. Or was it freshmen? You were freshmen.
So it's like when they're not.
Can you smell it? I
feel like a lot of us didn't even start to smell yet.
Smells like maybe. BO and Tostino, like pizza pockets.
Right. You're going to get real familiar with that smell soon.
Yeah. With my boys. Oh, God. Yeah.
Gross. Oh, that's when you start doing. Do you do their laundry?
I will wash it. Sometimes they'll put it in and then they put it away.
I feel like right around middle school is when you're like, boys, you do your own laundry. Yeah, because if I think about what I was putting in the laundry baskets in middle school, I've been like, she'll never know.
She knew.
She had to know, dude. That had to be a rough day, the first day. Anyway.
So you're the commish.
I'm the commissioner. And at the end of the year, we have this, the main event. So based on our standings, we all got like different amount of chips, and we played one big tournament for like a few $100s.
Yeah.
And we played it in, this is stupid. So my family had recently moved to a house, and my dad was adding a home theater to the house. So there was like a whole construction of this room that was like attached to our house, but basically in the backyard. And it wasn't fully built yet.
Yeah.
So it was just this wooden room that would become the theater, which I hate fucking talking. We were a home theater.
Privilege. Excuse me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry. I had some white privilege stuck in my throat. Anyway.
Gross.
That's what she said.
You had some white privilege stuck in your throat?
That's what I call my husband. Sorry, Mom. Anyway,
that's hilarious.
Keep going.
So we played it in this room. We had like a whole poker table that like unfolded and had the cup holders and the green felt.
Yeah. Oh.
And what we did is I set pictures of all the players, and so we could move them on like their rankings.
So fun.
Silly. And I taped them all up on this wooden wall.
Yeah.
And we played, and I lost. I should build up to it more, but like I got into a hand, I was all in. This poker meant the world to me. It was like all I cared about.
Yeah.
This
and you would organize everything.
Yes, it was at my house.
You owned the table.
It was. I did. Or I think we collected dues, so everybody owned the table collectively. We bought it as a unit.
Yeah.
And I lost the hand.
Like the first round or something.
One of the first people out.
Yeah.
And this is on camera. I don't know if someone has it still.
We have to get this for the pod.
I raged. I screamed. The pictures on the wall, I went and I like, in one motion, I like, blah, 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 and I ripped them all off the wall.
Oh my gosh.
All of my friends were like laughing, but horrified.
Yeah.
And then they all like played. My parents were like, you have a problem. Like, this is bad. Like,
this is the first time they've ever seen you lose it. Really? Besides like a toddler.
Over a game, I was really
Yeah.
taking a page out of my sister's book on this
Yeah.
one. Yeah. It was a rage session because I could not fathom not winning the World Series of the Poway Poker Tour.
Is this how it would have gone for Sick if you would have not won?
Fuck you, Jackie. Fuck you, Barunji.
John Fox, I hate you.
More like John Fix. This was a fix the whole time. It was brutal, and fortunately, it was the end of the season, so I took some time off.
Yeah.
There was times throughout the next several years where, like, when I was in trouble, they're like, "You aren't playing poker for a month." That was like how they would punish me.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? When they punished me from playing, I would read poker strategy books.
Oh my God, you were
Like,
deep.
you can't stop me from reading Super System by Doyle Brunson. You know, like,
Your rebellion was to read. That's very sweet.
it's so stupid.
Wait,
I'm
okay,
so glad that I didn't.
Go ahead. You were so glad what?
All I wanted to do was turn 18, move to Europe, and become a professional poker tour player.
That's wild.
Isn't it?
Wow.
I turned 17, got my first girlfriend, and then won a poker tournament using my buddy's ID at like a local Indian casino. Took the $700 I made, and like I put a lot of it on online poker. And I'm still 17, but I lost it all pretty quickly. And then because I had a girlfriend and all this pressure, and I was like, I think I have a problem. And I went to Gamblers Anonymous as a 17-year-old, and that's one of the weirdest.
It's like you and like a bunch of 6-year-old men.
It's a lot of people. I think I was the youngest person by 30 years.
Wow.
And then what they do when you sit down is like they greet you in a different way. They like tell you their story.
Yeah.
But everybody there was tripped out that I was 17, and they were all saying stuff. They're like,
you still got a few good years in you, man. Keep going.
No, they were like, if I had come here at your age, I would still have a family.
Oh my God.
And a home. And it was so heavy.
Yeah.
That I honestly was like.
It was like scared straight.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I went a couple more weeks, but then I went off to college. And I made friends, and I was like, oh, I have a gambling problem. I can't play, like.
Yeah.
So I stayed away from it. And I always recognized after that, like, okay, this could have been, I could have moved there with like, parents' money and like spent my whole college time inside playing poker.
Yeah.
Like, there was way less supervision. So
right.
Timing wise, it was a good thing to like work out when it was just like allowance and stupid stuff.
Right.
Because by the time I was an adult, I was like, all right, gambling is something to at least be aware of. And I'll do it in spurts.
Yeah.
But usually now it's like an indication that I'm in a bad place mentally when I like decide I want to play it again. It's like usually an indication that I'm like depressed or
what
something.
do you feel like it brings you that you want in that moment?
Action, like excitement. You feel like maybe when fall shifts to winter and it starts getting dark and like maybe things aren't as busy on the schedule. You're like, oh, well, this would be a good time. And it could be as simple as like seeing somebody play poker or talk about poker.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You get the itch.
Because it's fun to just go back in for a little bit. But I haven't dove back for like a long stretch where I ruined, relationships or families.
Right.
But that was a time that I lost it. And it was there's a bunch of different things about my upbringing that come out in that story, whether it's the privilege, the gamble, the addictive personality.
Yeah.
The being afraid, like the social anxiety, like hanging out more with the fellas than like, talking to girls and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
Wait, so why was it recorded?
Because we were like documenting. We were recording a lot of things that
because you would watch it on TV
the same way. Yeah. We'll document it. I mean, maybe YouTube was a thing, but we didn't put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think we made like a funny remake video of the Rage and like played it again, but it's on an old laptop that we would have to like pay to get power to again. But I think I have like old iPhones where I'm like, when I'm famous, I'm gonna figure out a way to fix that phone and get
everything off of it.
Yeah. Which is gonna get me canceled because it'll be like
it's all bad.
Yeah.
So okay. I'm just like so fascinated by this moment. There's 9 people in the room and you just completely go bananas.
Yeah.
You rip everything down. It's like you have this whole night planned of all of these rounds, and it's one of the very first rounds. So then how does the night progress after that?
I think that they probably played for another 3 or 4 hours.
Where did you go? You went to reprint the pictures. You're like, I gotta fix this.
I went to rehab.
You went to Kinko's.
straight to rehab. No, I think my parents probably pulled me aside and were like, you know, we're gonna let this night finish, but you're gonna. I knew for the next like 3 or 4 hours, like, all right, I gotta be cool. Let's wrap this up. I was probably still in commissioner mode, so I like shifted to something that was my job. And then when they all left, I probably was like, hey, can I hang out with so-and-so? And they were like, no.
Were they there when it happened? Were your parents there?
Yeah, maybe not. They heard it. They weren't like watching it. They heard it and then realized like, oh, he wasn't kidding. Like,
they're like, he's getting too invested in this.
Yeah. And that was the sign.
Wow.
It's a funny one.
So when it came up later, it was more of a joke with everybody. Was there anything that you did to like reconcile? Did you feel like you had to in that moment with all those people, or did it just kind of fizzle out?
No, I think everybody was like, I think there may have been people of those 10 who were like, I don't think we want to do it next year. Like,
yeah. So you did this whole thing for every single year of high school?
No, I think we tried the sophomore year. We did 2 weeks of it, and then everyone was like, we're grown, we've grown past this. Some of them did.
Yeah.
It was just, some of them started like getting driver's license. It's like, this isn't.
Some of them were in musical theater. They're like, we have tech week. We can't do this.
And there was then new people, because we were almost early adopters on the poker. So then there was more kids in our grade who wanted to play. Yeah. So then the games actually became bigger.
Oh, okay.
In ways.
Wow, that's crazy.
But they were less like a league and more just like sometimes we would have 25 people in, someone's garage for a whole Saturday.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's a great community.
I bet some of those guys became like crypto guys.
Really?
I would guess.
Yeah,
it just sort of lends itself.
Now? They're in Gamblers Anonymous.
There's one funny story because a couple of them started going to Indian casinos like with me.
We call it Native Americans on this podcast, but keep going. Canceled. Brent is canceled. Brent is canceled.
Yeah. Anyway. There's one called Barona that we would all go to. It was like 30 minutes from our house. And I was in community theater senior year, so I did a play.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, and I did a play that ran like, it was called, it was a British play. I forget what it was called. But it ran for 4 weeks, and 2 of my poker buddies said they were going to come. But then the last Sunday, they hadn't come, and so I called one of them, and he was like, I wanted to come, but our buddy's name was Truitt, his last name. He's like, Truitt's taking me to Barona. And I was like, phew. And so I hung up. I called Barona. I was like, can I talk to the poker room? And I did like an old man voice. Yeah. Can I talk to the poker room? And then I call poker. And I was like, my son Patrick is, he's just 16 and he snuck off to the casino. If he comes to you, don't let him play. And so then they show up. And he's like, Patrick for 1, 2. Those are like the blinds. Yeah. And then she goes, I know a secret about you. And then they're like, your dad called. You can't be playing here.
He's like, my dad's been dead for 15 years.
So they had to drive all the way home. And they were so mad at me.
Did they know it was you?
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Then did they go to your play?
No. But in my head the next day, I was like, we're even.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, poker.
That's Wow, that's so wild. You could either have lost an entire family and fortune at this point, or you could have been a millionaire, most famous.
I think about those guys because they still do have it on TV.
Yeah.
And there's a whole generation of players now who you're like, oh, well, they were doing what I was doing, and then they became adults and they became full-time poker players.
Yeah.
It looks so miserable.
Yeah.
Even when you're doing it at a high level, you're like 12 hours, 16 hours in a casino with your sunglasses on. It's so antisocial.
Yeah.
There's no way that is a fulfilling lifestyle. It can't be.
Right. So, and you said that, when you lost it, immediately afterwards, you kind of put your commissioner hat on and kind of like went back into that. Do you feel like that's something you do now? Like if you're emotional, you'll kind of go into work mode or
For sure.
Yeah.
I've had to stop myself because now I think it's funny because in poker, people have tells. Mm-hmm. So like, there's a famous movie called Rounders with Matt Damon, and that guy who John Malkovich's character, whenever he like plays with his Oreo, he has a good hand. And it's never that obvious in poker, but the same sort of thing. Poker is an indication that I might be depressed. In comedy, whenever I feel this urge to self-produce, like, oh, I'm going to pick a place on a map and I'm going to self-produce, that's usually a reflection of mania for me. Yeah. And in the last few years, I've done it 5 or 6 times. It's gone really well. Yeah. But at the end of it, I'm so drained. Yeah. I've spent so much energy doing something comedy related that didn't make me funnier. And as much as I love the thrill of producing, it's usually a tell that I'm neglecting some other form of work.
That's really interesting. That's interesting. You know that about yourself too.
I'm only learning it, Yeah. And so I have to fight the urges. I pulled all the maps off of because I have this giant Pacific Northwest map in front of my desk.
It looks like a serial killer map with all the strings.
Yeah, for the longest time, it was just like, oh, well, the most central place to live is Tacoma because then I could drive blah, 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 all these places.
It is a good place to live. It's a great scene.
It's great. And, but I had to pull it because I would look up and get new ideas of places to go. And it's like, write jokes. The jokes will take me to the places I need to go. Yeah. And I forget that all the time.
Because it's like you could produce a show, you could headline a show, you could sell out a room, but it's like I'd rather do that than something that maybe I'm not sure that I'm going to succeed in. Is that how it feels?
Well, producing isn't the dream. So even if that went to its biggest capacity, it would require me to stop doing stand-up at the level that I want. And honestly, if I pursued comedy fully and then in a certain amount of time realized like, oh, I'm never going to get to that big level. Yeah. Maybe producing could be something that I could put all my energy into and feel right about it. And probably still host a lot of the shows that I'm doing, but maybe be okay with like shifting. But it's really hard to do both. And so as long as I have, at least for this year, every time I get the urge to do producing, I'm trying to put that into writing to just spend the whole year really knowing I gave the comedy part all.
Right. That's it? You're only giving yourself one more year?
I don't know. It's that's its own conversation.
Also, I just want to say to any comics listening who are producing a shitty show, maybe listen to Brent. Maybe this is you too. Maybe you don't need to be producing that show. Or actually, maybe that's the wrong way to go with it. Keep producing those shows.
You learn so much from producing, but you know when like, because it's not even shitty producing. Good producing is just as exhausting.
It's true.
And so
that's why I'm not producing anymore. I mean,
congrats.
Thank you. I had a show that I was doing. We started like 3.5 years ago. Very successful.
Yeah,
I would not toot my own horn, boop, 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 but it is draining. And then it's like if I want to pursue like doing more headlining and whatever, then my energy has to go to that.
But you're sacrificing a regular amount of money coming in, and
Yeah.
To some degree.
Somewhat. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and you notice that when it stops coming in.
Well, and then when you go to another scene, normally I'd be like, hey, come do my show. But now I'm like, hey.
I have nothing to offer but talent.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have to wrap it up.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on my pod.
Anything else?
I mean, so much more, but we're running out of time.
Right. I'll come back.
Come back anytime. I mean, not anytime. I don't actually live here. I lied when I said that.
Oh.
So I'm not always here.
I took a shit in the closet, so
Well,
should I
that's
clean
fine.
that up?
Nate Jackson can take care of that.
I'll clean it up.
space.
My bad. No, I thought it was Jackie's closet.
Okay, so I want you to look into the camera and give advice to someone who is like currently losing it or loses it a lot. It can be funny, it can be real, whatever you want. Go.
Call your mom. Oh, and if she's dead, and that's okay. Wait. Edit this out.
Start over.
Go to the casino. Numb your mind with a little 1-2 no limit Texas Hold'em, and if you feel like hitting a wall, that's when it's time to stop. This is terrible advice. Thank you very much.
Good. And also I want to add to that, you never count your money when you're sitting at the table, right? There'll be plenty time for counting cards.
I should have said that.
When the deal is
That's
done.
what I should have said.
You should have.
That's great.
You were the
That's why
winner,
you're the
but
host.
that's why I won the semifinals.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening, Mom and Brent's mom. And if you want to see Brent, look him up on social media. He's very funny. You love everything he does.
At Brent.
.com. No, not .com. That's just his handle. Find him online. Come see a show. Thank you for listening. Stay manic, my little babies. Bye-bye.
Bye. Great job.
Thanks.
We
You
nailed
too.
it.